Hey everyone, did you have a great week?
Hi Ari, I had a wonderful week. How about you?
Oh, my week was wonderful too, except I've sure been dreaming a lot.
You have?
Yeah, I think these stories about Daniel are making me think about stuff while I sleep.
Well, are they good dreams or bad dreams?
Well, they're mostly dreams about food. You know, peanut butter, ice cream, popcorn, banana pudding, chocolate cake, Brussels sprouts.
Okay. Can we get back to today's story?
Oh yeah, is there another vision or dream?
Well, today's chapter begins with Daniel studying scriptures and he's reading all the things that Jeremiah wrote. Jeremiah was a prophet also, and God told him things through visions and dreams also. So you can read about Jeremiah in your Bible too.
Wow, the Bible is filled with exciting stuff, isn't it?
It sure is. Are you ready to learn?
Ready as ever. Let's go!
During Darius's first year as the new king of Babylon, Daniel had a third vision or dream. He was now more than 80 years old, and he had been studying the prophecies of Jeremiah, which are found in the Old Testament today. While reading, Daniel learned that the city of Jerusalem would be destroyed and then rebuilt in just 70 years. 70 years were almost up since Daniel had been captured. Daniel got excited. Could it be that Jerusalem, his hometown, the city he had been captured from, might be restored in just a few more years? So Daniel immediately began to pray and plead with God. He put on rough clothes of sackcloth and sat in ashes as a sign of mourning and humility before the Lord. He didn't eat anything. He just prayed and prayed and prayed. He asked God to forgive his people and restore the city of Jerusalem. First, Daniel confessed to God that his people, the Israelites, had not obeyed the commandments he had given to them. He said, "We have sinned and done what is wrong. We have been evil. We have turned away from your commands and laws." Then he acknowledged that God had sent warnings to them. The prophets had told them about the curses that would come upon them. But the kings and all the people in the land had not listened. And now the curses had been poured out. The Israelites had received nothing but trouble. They hadn't asked for God's favor, and God didn't hold back because he always does what is right. Next, Daniel accepted the punishment that the Lord had given, saying, "We are covered with shame today. You scattered us among the nations because we weren't faithful to you." And Daniel talked about God's love. He said, "You are the Lord our God. You showed us your tender love. You forgive us. But we have turned against you, and we have broken your law and refused to obey you." Next, Daniel reminded God that he had used his mighty hand to save his people before. He had rescued them from slavery and brought them out of Egypt. So Daniel asked God to turn his anger away from Jerusalem again, to pay attention to his cries for help, to have mercy on the temple that had been destroyed, and to do it for his own honor. And lastly, Daniel begged for God to listen to his prayers. He said, "We aren't asking you to answer our prayers because we are godly. Instead, we are asking you to do it because you love us so much." In the evening, while Daniel was still praying, the angel Gabriel flew over to him very quickly and said, "Daniel, I have come now to help you know and understand. You are highly respected. As soon as you began to pray, the Lord gave you a message. I have come to tell you what it is. Here is how you must understand the vision." Then Gabriel told Daniel that the prophecy was not for just 70 years, but that God had set a calendar of 70 sets of 7 years. This was very sad news for Daniel, but there was much more for him to learn.
Paula, that was about a lot of prayer. Daniel prayed and prayed and prayed, and God didn't answer his prayer.
Well, God did answer his prayer, Ari. It just wasn't the answer Daniel was expecting.
Oh, yeah, right. Does the Bible tell us what happened next? Did Daniel get mad and cry?
Well, this is only the first part of Daniel chapter 9. There's so much more to this story, but we're going to tell that part next week, so you're going to have to wait to hear more about it.
Really? Oh, wow. Is it good stuff or bad stuff? I mean, Daniel must have already been sad to know that Jerusalem wasn't going to be rebuilt during his lifetime. He had already waited 70 years, and now none of it was going to happen for 70 sets of 7 years.
I know, and that sounds like a really long time, Ari. But as the angel Gabriel explains to him, the 70 sets of years is God's timeline. It's not like our calendar, it's God's special calendar. And it's going to be a little bit different, but there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going to happen in those 70 sets of 7 years.
So I'm just supposed to wait until next week to learn more?
Well, I'm pretty sure there was a lot in the prayer today that you can learn from.
You mean about Daniel's prayer? He sure took prayer seriously, didn't he? I mean, he changed his clothes and didn't eat for a while and talked to God about a lot of stuff.
He sure did. What he was mostly doing, though, was asking God for forgiveness. He was apologizing for his people.
And then he asked him to restore Jerusalem because he still loved them.
That's right, he did.
But God said no.
He didn't say no. He said not right now.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about this story. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk to God a lot more this week. I'm going to apologize for the wrong things I do and tell him I love him and ask for his forgiveness and thank him for loving me and tell him about my friends and ask him to have some questions I've been wondering about and ask him to make my grandma feel better and thank him for all the stuff I'm learning, and then I'm going to ask him to do. Hey boys and girls, are you ready for this review game? Here we go. Question number 1. Daniel wanted to know if the city of Jerusalem would be rebuilt. Is this true? Thumbs up. Or not true? Thumbs down. That's right. Your thumb should be up. Daniel was reading from the book of Jeremiah and learned that Jerusalem would be rebuilt again. Question number 2. Daniel prayed for his people because he wanted God to forgive them and let them rebuild their city. Is this true? Thumbs up. Or not true? Thumbs down. That's also true. Daniel changed his clothes, sat in ashes, and prayed. He pleaded with God to forgive his people. Question number 3. God sent an angel to tell Daniel that the city would be built right away. Is this true or not true? Show me your thumbs. This is not true. Thumbs down. The prophecy was for 70 sets of 7 years, not just for 70 years. But God did send Gabriel to explain a lot of things that were going to happen in the future. Question number 4. We can learn a lot about prayer from the book of Daniel. Is this true or not true? This is definitely true. Daniel prayed every day and talked to God about everything. Thanks for playing, everyone. You did great!